Today my audience is going to be my mom. God has given us two hands, one to receive with and the other to give with. Quoted by Dr. Billy Graham. Those of us who live in the United States are very blessed. Most of us have plenty of food, money, and decent jobs and good health care. It is easy to take things for granted and think only of ourselves. But there are billions of people around the world who are living in hunger and poverty with no hope for the future. Because of bad decisions made by adults, many innocent children are paying a high price and dying every day due to things like hunger, famine, malaria, unclean water, common diseases, and poor sanitary conditions. Things that they have no hope of overcoming in the future. They are destined for a life of poverty with no way out. So my challenge to you is to try to look beyond yourself and consider how you can make a difference in such a big world by giving just a little bit of your time and money. One way you can do this is by becoming a child sponsor. We have all seen those TV commercials that encourage us to give those living in poverty around the world. They show children and babies dying from malnutrition. You might think that that problem is just too big. What kind of difference could you possibly make? Well, I would like you to meet Grace. Grace is my sponsored sister in the Philippines. My family has sponsored her for the past 6 years. She is now 14 years old and lives with her parents and two younger sisters in a small coastal village. They live in a small wooden house with an iron roof. Grace's father works hard as a laborer and her mother takes care of their home. Grace was waiting to be sponsored at the age of 8 so that she could go to school. In my family, child sponsorship began when my mom was a college student 30 years ago. She was taking a public speaking class and one of her classmates did a speech on child sponsorship. It was a very persuasive speech and resulted in my mom deciding to sponsor a child. She sponsored a boy in Colombia for a few years until he became too old and was no longer in the program. It wasn't until many years later that my mom decided to sponsor another child. That child was Grace. Sponsorship has been a very rewarding experience for my mom the first time. So Grace really is our second sponsored child. With 1 billion people living in hunger and poverty today, child sponsorship gives you an opportunity to have a positive impact in the life of a needy child. Now I will talk about what child sponsorship is, poverty and hunger around the world, and especially about how you can get involved and make a huge difference in someone's life by becoming a child sponsor. Child sponsorship is funding a child in a developing country until the child becomes self-sufficient. It is being an advocate for someone less fortunate. Being a sponsor could mean financially supporting the health, education, and security of a child in need. There are many sponsorship programs and organizations around the world today, but I am only going to talk about a few. The very first organization was Save the Children, which began in 1932. Compassion International is a Christ-centered ministry that has been passionate about helping children in poverty since 1952. They partner with local churches around the world who share their same vision of reaching out to children and their families. Some of their many programs are construction projects, Water for Life, and child survival. Feed the Children is one of the largest international charities in the U.S. Its key goal is to help families in need move past needing help and into becoming self-sufficient members of their community. Programs focus on providing food, medical assistance, emergency relief, and educational opportunities. In 2011, over 150,000 backpacks filled with books, food, and other items were donated to homeless children. Samaritan's Purse is an organization that helps to break the cycle of poverty and give them hope for the future. They have relief programs for victims of natural disasters and teams work in crisis areas around the world. They also have a program called Operation Christmas Child. In this program, shoeboxes are filled with items such as school supplies and small toys. These shoeboxes are wrapped as gifts and distributed as Christmas presents to the needy children around the world. Gifts come by plane, boat, car, or camel, and whatever it takes to bring the joy and the opportunity to hear the gospel message. World Vision is a Christian humanitarian organization dedicated to working with children, families, and their communities worldwide to reach their full potential by tackling the causes of poverty and injustice. They deal with issues of child trafficking, hunger, poverty, and other crisis situations. Sponsors often wonder if their money is really getting to the person it is supposed to get to, and how they could be sure it is used the way it is intended to be used. Most organizations have a good reputation. All of the ones that I've mentioned have excellent programs for accountability. They have audits done regularly to make sure the money is tracked and managed properly. Local projects are also evaluated on a regular basis by the larger organization. For example, Compassion International is audited each year by an independent accounting firm. They also publish the entire report and make it available for anyone to look over. They get high ratings from agencies that look into the finances of nonprofit organizations. They reviewed A ratings, 4 stars, and are a founding member of the Council for Financial Accountability. It is very important to find out just what the needs are in the world today. Here are some interesting, alarming statistics. 1.1 billion people live in chronic hunger today. They survive on less than $1 a day since 2007. 12.4 million people in West Africa alone don't get enough food to eat. A child is 45 more times likely to die before the age of 5 in Nigeria than in France. 20% of Kenya's population live on less than $1.25 a day. Right now, there are over 2,400 children over the age of 10 who are waiting for someone to sponsor them today, in just one organization alone. Becoming a child sponsor is very easy to do. Here's how you get started. Visit the website of one of these organizations. You can search for a child to sponsor by watching videos and seeing photos of children that are waiting to be sponsored. Or you can let the organization choose a child for you. Just let them know if you want a boy or girl and what particular country you are interested in. Once your sponsorship is set up, you can start making contributions. Most programs ask for monthly payments between $15 to $35 per month. Payments are automatically withdrawn and are as easy as a click of a button. As a sponsor, you will receive monthly letters, drawings, and photos of your sponsored child, as well as updated information on your child's education and welfare. You are encouraged to also send letters and gifts to your child as well. You are the only one who is sponsoring your particular child. No one else shares it with you, making it more personal. Some programs have even included optional visits to your sponsored child's country, depending on the country they live in. Through sponsorship programs, children are given the opportunity to receive things that they usually would not be able to afford. For about $1 a day, these programs allow them opportunities for medical and dental checkups, medicines against diseases, nutritious food, water, vitamins, and the chance to attend school. At school, they receive Bible teaching, skills developed, music and art workshops, as well as sports and field trips. They also help cover the cost of school supplies, uniforms, and other school fees. Sponsorship also helps the individual child to develop self-worth by building meaningful relationships with people who truly care about them. And the rewardings of being a sponsor are priceless. Being a child sponsor means being an advocate for someone who is less fortunate. By investing in the life of a needy child, you can make an impact on the world today. With just a little bit of time and money, you can become a child sponsor. All it takes is just one person helping another. You can really change the world for the better, one life at a time. There's the story of a young boy who walked along the beach of his village looking for starfish. He slowly approached each one that was trapped in the hot sun by the receding tides, and carefully pried away its legs from any rocks before tossing it back into the sea. Under his tender daily care, hundreds of starfish returned to the water. One day, an older man walked along the shore. He watched the young boy's careful, repetitive ritual for some time before approaching him. "Why do you throw the starfish back into the sea?" the old man asked. "Because the starfish will die if left in the hot sun on the shore," the boy explained. "But there are millions of starfish," the old man said, "and there are many, many shores with countless beaches upon which you will never walk. On each of those beaches are throngs of starfish that you will never save. Why do you bother?" The boy looked down at the beach beneath his feet. Then he reached down and picked one up of the colorful pointed creatures. "Because today, this day, this one will live," the boy replied, throwing the starfish back into the sea. The old man watched in disbelief as the boy continued his rote practice. The man reflected for some time. Then he reached down, picked up a starfish, and threw it into the sea. All it takes is one act of kindness, but the impact will last forever. Please consider reaching out your hand to sponsor a child in need, like this little girl. Thank you.